She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Bournemouth can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
These got me buzzing.
Up the Toffees. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. Welcome back to another episode of Footy with the Boys. We have
Here's some ASMR for all of you. Hang on. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
ASMR.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Good God, man.
What a way
What
to start.
is
I love it.
this?
Oh, you're fucking
I love
welcome. You're welcome, guy, for that ASMR. Huh?
No, that was the
All
right call.
We've turned into an ASMR channel. I thought we were re-going, but we move. We have Championship Sunday coming up with a whole lot of matches this weekend that led into what will be a good title race on Championship Sunday, but that relegation battle will be all but done. We have some European races that are getting just about as close as you can get on certain teams that maybe we didn't think would be in it, making their case. And we have the championship playoff between Norwich and Leeds. They draw 0-0. West Brom and Southampton also draw 0-0. That means winner take all games for leg 2 in both of these. Mike, if you had to predict the teams that will win this and then ultimately get promoted, what are you thinking? What do you think happens here?
I'll go Norwich and Southampton, and I'll give it to Norwich. Don't really have anything to base that off, but Josh Sargent, come on up, man. Let us
Josh
see him
A.
next year.
Yeah. I would.
And I know
love
Leeds
Josh
are
Sargent to put him up.
historically bad in playoffs. Never won one in the 5 they participated in. So if the history continues, that's a good basis.
I imagine they'd be a heavy favorite based off of the fact that they were in an automatic position for a good portion of the season, but they did bottle that, so that might go against them. Nick, if Josh Sargent goes to the Premier League, what do you expect to happen to his output there? Is he going to be able to kind of do Timu Pukki-esque results for them?
Listen, I want Sargent in the Prem, but not with Norwich. Let's give him to Everton, boys. Come on. Let's give him the Toffees.
All right, hey, oh,
Come on.
don't
Come
tempt me
on.
with a good time. I tell you
You
what.
want to talk about a good year next year? Let's get Joshy Sargent on the Toffees. And although, to be fair, this Portuguese kid looks pretty solid. I'm sure we'll talk about him later. But yeah, I think he's good enough to be at the level, hopefully. And maybe if he can prove to be a consistent goal scorer, maybe he's the 9 we've been looking for.
There's a good shot that Josh Sargent might be on the move, regardless here. Obviously not regardless. I think if they do go to the Premier League, he sticks with Norwich. But if they don't get promoted, I'm sure there'll be certain people asking about the price range there, see if it makes sense for that bottom half of the Premier League.
What do you think he goes
Boys,
for?
10,
15
15?
mil?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds about right. About how many goals he's scored. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up with our boy Josh Sargent, the red-haired monster in Norwich. Mike, you have something?
I do not.
Oh, you look teed up, ready to go.
Fuck Leeds,
You
by
know
the
what?
way.
You know
Not,
what?
sir.
Aren't they the ones that
We'll
don't like
move
Americans?
straight into our around the globe here with Never Loosen. They had 2 games since our last video. They had a Europa League bout with Roma. They were down 2-0, and people thought it might be over. They score 1 goal, an own goal, that would put them through into the Europa League final. So maybe they sit back, just hold that lead, but no. They are well aware of what their streak is, and they continued attacking nonstop. They get a 90th plus 7 minutes of stoppage time to level it and keep their unbeaten streak alive before a 5-0 rout this weekend. Boys, 50 games unbeaten. This is like better than a FIFA career mode. Every once in a while you fuck up in that. This is absolute perfection. Which begs the question, is what Leverkusen is doing with an unbeaten season, if they end up beating Atalanta in the Europa League final, and I don't even know who they're playing in the DFB Pokal, but if they win those games, is this the most impressive feat in footballing history?
Nick, you want to take it?
Nah, I don't think so. I think you got to put Leicester right up there. I think you gotta. Personally, there's strong bias, but I'd take our golden trophy over theirs. We were in the Champions League; they were not. We were in a more difficult footballing division as well in the Prem. So I think both. I think everyone could agree to that, even though what they're doing is incredible. And I'm sure there's a lot of awesome things that have happened that we are not talking about. Honestly, Man City quadrupling is a hell of an accomplishment too. So I don't think so, but let's not compare these legendary moments in my head. Let's just what a hell of a season Never Losing is having, and long may it continue. That's a dope story.
Maybe not the best ever, but it's up there with the Leicester and Porto winning the Champions League and Greece winning the Euros. And of course, the United States men's national team winning 3 Nations Leagues in a row. I mean, those are the pinnacle of underdog stories. Welcome to the club, Leverkusen.
Yeah, I would be in the camp for Leverkusen is probably the best story if they do continue to win out here. Because, I mean, a complete perfect season, and not really even. Yes, they've drawn a few times to keep it alive, but it's not a large amount of draws they've had, and they've won in every single competition, every single game. I mean, that is absurd. I wonder what will happen to them after the season. How many people get, bought for parts of all these other super teams with crazy amounts of oil money? They're going to want a part of this. Xabi Alonso will be thrown copious amounts of money to leave there, although he's already said he's staying. We'll see, because money does talk, and that man is going to secure an absolute bag the second he leaves Leverkusen. There is not a salary in this world that will match what will get paid for that guy as a manager. He is unreal.
The key to it is Florian Wirtz. If he leaves, then I don't know what's happen, but he is
Frimpong as well.
I believe he's verbally committed to stay another year.
Go, though. I saw that.
So, I mean, who knows how much that holds, but that's huge. And if he stays, that could inspire some other guys to stay. Sure, they won't be able to hold on to everybody, but if they can hold on to the main pieces, Jonathan Tah, Florian Wirtz, Frimpong or Grimaldo, some of those guys, I mean, they should be set for a successful season next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, especially with all the money coming in from all these competitions and winning, you allow yourself to not have to sell them. Usually teams are thinking, hey, it's $100 million bag. Let's take it. We can reinvest. We have, money that we need to put into infrastructure. This is a case where if you're winning all this, getting into Champions League, getting into all these trophies, you're getting all those purses, you're not having to necessarily sell players. So it may be a case of trying to hang on as long as the players wish to. But boys, how about we get into the Premier League as we go into the second to last week here that we are going to recap. And Nick, there is no place that we could start other than the title race. And it starts with Arsenal versus Manchester United. It's a 1-0 win for Arsenal. Trossard has become a club legend and really cemented his spot on that side.
Hold on.
If they win the Premier League, the amount of goals that he has got as winners recently is wild. He's cemented that spot over Martinelli, and I think by a significant margin at this point, no?
He has 5 in his last 7 in a title run-in, which is very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah. Does that get you legendary status?
If they win. If they win. I'm a little ahead of myself. If they end up winning the Premier League, though, that is...
If he scores a
legend of the streets
80-plus minute winner versus Everton to win the title, then yes, he'll be a club legend.
Yeah. That
outside of that,
certainly,
I don't know.
I mean, if they win it if he scores,
he's not a legend. He's not a legend.
Club legend.
Let's not get into this conversation. There's a lot to talk about. This can't be the conversation we talk about.
All right. Let's get into the game here. Neither of these teams, Nick, looked great. Arsenal was not at their best at all, but doesn't matter, really. I mean, they win 1-0. There's only one game left. You're not really thinking, we need our best form so we can keep going down the season. There is one game between you guys and a potential trophy or not. and it's not necessarily all in your hands either. So you get the result. It's a Manchester United team that Casemiro looks like he is, I don't even know, just
Done.
not wanting to be there. He is playing in like a beer league, leaving Havertz wildly onside. He is 30 yards behind the next defender. And then in his recovery, he's jogging as if it's like a tactical walkthrough so that Trossard can get the tap in. It's a terrible performance by Arsenal and Manchester United. Arsenal come out on top. Are you at all worried going into the last game of the season based off what you saw here? Or is it, hey, we got the result and that's all that matters?
Yeah, I mean, you said not our best performance, arguably our worst. I mean, what a horrible game to watch. If you followed my live tweets, I was stressed. I pulled out the all caps on Saka, who did not look fit enough to be in this game. Tough showing, but business end of the season. It's tough to say because they looked so bad. Arsenal really did. They got caught open like 5 times. The announcers kept saying like, "Oh, you can understand them playing defensive after with a 1-0 lead as you're trying to get the 3 points." They were not playing defensive. They were just out there on the field. Like there was no structure in that midfield. In our strongest midfield three, Partey looked horrible. But regardless, we got a little bit lucky. We got lucky that Casemiro was looking up real estate prices in Orlando. We got lucky that Garnacho's allergic to getting a ball on goal. We get lucky that Anthony's busy making memes on the sideline instead of actually figuring out what the hell to do. So I'm going to call it luck, honestly, for the win today. We did just enough. A good goal by Trossard, right place, right time. I don't know about club legend, but he's definitely been doing things in the past 7 games to make a lot of people proud. So at the end of the day, as I was watching the game, not happy, ecstatic now. We're still dreaming. 7th time in the last 45 games that we win at Old Trafford. 45 games at Old Trafford, that's only our 7th win. When you put it into perspective, not bad. When you add the perspective of we haven't lost a single game to Big Six this season, officially confirmed, not bad. When you put in perspective, this is the most wins that an Arsenal team has ever gotten in the Premier League, including one more than the Invincibles side. You got to say, it's a hell of a season. Hell of a win, hell of a 3 points for 72 hours and 72 hours only. Come on, you Spurs.
Wow. I think we got Havertz in the post-game interview said, I'm the biggest Tottenham fan now. Mike, we'll move to the other side of Manchester to City in a second, but Manchester United now sitting in the lowest position that their club would ever finish in if it stays this way, and it will. Manchester United has never finished below 7th. They certainly will this year. They did not look good. It was really Garnacho and Amad Diallo, the only two that provided any type of dangerous acts in this one. So tough to watch from Manchester United, but they only lose 1-0. So Manchester United fans, there is that going your way. That is much better than I thought the scoreline would be. Mike, it was not a pretty scoreline for our kite-flying friends over at Fulham. They lose 4-0. 4-0. All the Arsenal fans were in their mentions trying to rile them up, get some juice for this one versus Manchester City. Did not happen. They get obliterated here, 4-0. And Manchester City is now 1 game away from another title. Or 2 games away. They have Tottenham and West Ham.
Yep.
Sorry. What are the odds that you see this red-hot Man City team that does not look like they are fucking around or taking anything easy, losing or just having points taken off of them by Tottenham or West Ham here?
Keep it real, but it's painful to say. The odds are very low that anything happens except for 6 points. Absolute clinic against Fulham. Never looked in danger. Never looked like they were going to lose a game. And the goals came from everywhere. I mean, where the hell did Jasko Gvordial come from?
What the hell was that?
Yeah, what the hell is this?
Dude's got no goals, really no contribution offensively. Starts out of position most of the season and then has just really come into his own. Owns the left side of the field. Is really good on the ball. I mean, those City sessions must be something different because he looks like a completely different player. Both goals were taken very well. I think he's got 5 goals in the same number of games, which is crazy. And could have had a hat trick if he decided to take the pen, but chose to give it to Alvarez. Just kind of, run of the mill, par for the course for Man City here. 4-0 win. It's a lot, but for them, you're like, yeah, that's pretty standard against this Fulham team.
Hey, really quickly, what is up with that Julian Alvarez pen? How is Josko Gvordial not like? Does Alvarez have some sort of clause, or was that his like highest ever total in the Prem? How is he not taking that pen for a hat trick? Be the first Premier League defender ever to score a hattie.
Looked like Kyle Walker asked if he wanted to take it, and he said kind of no. Like,
yeah, what's
let Alvarez take it.
That's crazy.
Let your teammate take it. I like it. That's
I get it. Like whatever. Actually, I don't get it. I'm fine with it, but he should have grabbed it.
I'm sure he was not thinking. Cool. Yeah. Oh, I don't think he was told before the game, hey, you could be the first defender to score a hat trick. So I'm not sure if he knew exactly what he was potentially passing on there. But also, can we just talk about how fucking crazy it is that Man City in a title race, the goals are just coming out of nowhere from center backs now? If dealing with their superstar striker, their amazing like center attacking mid, and all these talented wingers was not enough, now their center backs were arguing whether he should have gotten a hat trick or not. This is ridiculous.
Total football.
Nick, are you getting
sum it up here?
Are you getting worried about the goal differential?
Yeah.
It is getting close. It is getting close.
Absolutely. That's why we need to win more by the day.
I mean, seriously. Tottenham's record against Man City, phenomenal at home. Man City always drops points there, but the way they're leaking them right now, it seems like a bunch could go in the midweek. And Big Ange finally getting tired with his players. You saw him have an outburst really on the touchline this weekend, naming individuals specifically, say, hey, you better fucking play the ball forward. Stop playing it fucking backwards. That's not our style of play. So he seemed to lose it a little bit. Maybe that's just his passion coming out. Not a good sign, though, if you're Arsenal or Tottenham for this Man City game.
Listen, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter. I think City gets 6 points and, GG's on the season. But it would be, honestly, it'd kind of be what Arsenal deserve based off their performance today if we lose based off goal difference, because we should have had about 17 goals today and it was 1-0. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I think it may be, after an outburst by Ange, maybe really against Arsenal in that Tottenham are probably going to stick to their system like crazy and play that high line, play that aggressive manner, which Manchester City could just absolutely destroy. Kind of like how Chelsea early in the season just was able to score so many easy goals because of Tottenham and how aggressive they were. If that happens with Man City, man, it could become very ugly. I think that they're a team that, if Chelsea could take advantage of it, Man City's gonna fucking abuse it. It is gonna get ugly.
Mickey Van de Ven masterclass incoming. We're with you, Spurs.
Cross your fingers.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, Tim Howard said in the after game show of the Arsenal one, he said that as an Everton player, you do think about what your rival's doing and what your result means for them. He said that he guarantees that the Tottenham players will know that what's on the line for Arsenal, the loss, if they lose, they will not worry about at all. So we'll see if Arsenal, or not Arsenal, Tottenham are at all worried. They still have a shot at Champions League, so I'd imagine that could pull them over the line to really go all in on this one. But
look at their form.
Big Ange don't play that either.
Big Ange has 3 points out of his possible 15. So
the smallest glimmer of hope, Nick, in the first leg, 3-3 tie in December.
Hell yeah.
So
give me a tie.
If that high line's really working and the attack is on, could see something, but don't get your hopes too high.
Get your hopes high.
Don't worry, they're not.
All right. Let's move from Arsenal and City and that discussion that we will have decided on Championship Sunday down to the European chases here. And we kind of already mentioned one. Nick, for the top 4, we have Aston Villa and Tottenham as we know, Tottenham have Man City next. That is not going to be an easy one, but then they do end with Sheffield. So if they were to get a result at City, you'd imagine they could easily get 3 points at Sheffield. Villa are going to be playing versus Liverpool, obviously a very tough matchup, and then they're going to play against Palace, a Palace side that in their last 10 games have 5 wins, 4 draws, and only 1 loss. One of the hottest teams in the Premier League. What do you give the odds that Tottenham can get Champions League? Because it really does come down to that matchup with Man City for them.
I think this title race comes down to tomorrow, and that's that big Liverpool-Villa game that we have coming up tomorrow, because if Villa drop 3 points, there is a very realistic path for the Spurs, to get top 4. And that path would include having to beat a City, but you can tell yourself if you're Tottenham, I need 6 points of these final 6 points, and I have a shot at being in the top 4, because that last game for Villa, that Palace game, is not an easy game. Outside of Arsenal and City, are Palace the hottest team in the Prem? Maybe Everton, you could argue as well, but Palace has been doing it, scoring a bunch of goals. Like that is not an easy path to the top 4. That being said, I mean, it'd have to be a monumental collapse by Villa, which I think they're very capable of, but it'd have to be a monumental collapse to get up a 4-point lead with 2 games remaining. It's really going to come down to tomorrow. Liverpool, they're not playing for anything but Jurgen Klopp. So let's see if away from home, if they'll be able to notch a win. I don't know really what to expect from them, but it's definitely not going to be an easy game for Villa. And, I really do think it gets decided tomorrow, because if Villa win tomorrow, or if Villa even get a point tomorrow, I think Tottenham are going to lay down their sword on Tuesday. I expect Villa to finish in the top 4, but there's a path. There's a path for Spurs for sure.
Yeah, I think the butterfly effect may be real in this one. If Liverpool take care of business versus Aston Villa, that means the next day, on Tuesday, Tottenham are going to think, hey, we actually have a fucking shot at this, because our last game is significantly easier than what Aston Villa's is. And they would get a win there, and Aston Villa would only need a draw against Crystal Palace for Tottenham to take that jump above them. Could leave open a lot of things in that Champions League. Obviously, not getting that 5th extra spot, so that 4th spot is going to be important for them. Mike, sliding a little bit further down the table, we have Newcastle and Chelsea in a heated, knotted up chase for a European spot there. Chelsea beat Forest 3-2. Newcastle dropped some points, tie with Brighton 1-1. The remaining games for Newcastle are Manchester United and Brentford, not necessarily the most informed teams here. Chelsea playing against Brighton and Bournemouth, which will be certainly the harder path. Do you see Chelsea, with their recent run of form, being able to keep that going through these 2 last ones, or do you think Newcastle, because of that somewhat easier options, obviously Manchester United still a big matchup for them, being the ones that come away on top here?
I could see both sides winning out, and then Newcastle just keeping the top spot on goal differential. Neither team really had that great of a performance this weekend. Caught a little bit of the Newcastle-Brighton game. Brighton scored first, Newcastle fight back. Not too
Big
much.
Point.
Yeah, big point to get, but not the best performance. And then Chelsea end up beating Nottingham, but could have drawn that game, could have lost that game if Chris Wood could find the freaking goal. Poor performance.
We know he can't, though.
He can't. And then Chelsea, inspired with Reece James coming back on the pitch, instant impact. They score quick, and then he provides the winning assist to Nicholas Jackson, who had a good finish and is finding a little bit of form at the end of the season after.
It was the hair.
The tough season. It was the hair, dude. That shaved head. Putting in work. So I'm going to expect 6 points from both of them based on the matchups they have. Might not turn out that way, but Newcastle to hold on.
Yeah,
to number 6.
I feel like after watching Newcastle and Chelsea this entire season, I can pretty confidently say they are not going to get all 6, either of them. But I think if you get 4 points, I think you come out on top of this, because I do think one of these games, these teams are going to lose. If you can come out with 4, get results in both.
those games are not easy. Like any of those 4 games. I mean,
No,
is Man U the easiest game? And still, it's Man U. You know that Brentford had just got an impressive win over Bournemouth. Brighton, I mean, are the epitome of bang average, but like they still can do damage. And Bournemouth is winning great form.
look at their record. They're 12-12-12.
Yeah, they're. I mean, sitting in 10th. I'm pretty sure. I saw some stat that said if only their goal difference was 0, that would really,
Yeah.
that would really be it. So yeah, I mean, none of those games are easy. I probably agree with Tracy that Newcastle takes it, but shout out to Chelsea. They're kind of getting it together.
They really are, and Reece James coming back will be a huge boost to them because he is a great player for the 2 to 3 games he plays each season. So will be a massive boost to get him back here and see how long he can last.
It was his 8th game this season, Flash. Come on. Put a little respect.
Sorry.
You clown.
Yeah.
What a baseless accusation.
He doesn't even have injury problems. I don't know what I'm even talking about, but we'll move
question
to
before we leave Chelsea. It answered how you will. Malagusto, really great season at right back. They're going to find a way to fit both of them in the team. I mean, both of them are starting caliber right backs from most teams in the Premier League, I would think. Can they shift them out to the left? What do you see with that?
Wasn't Malagusto? Didn't he play a little bit of left back? I thought. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. Yeah, I mean,
throw him there.
Yeah, definitely try it. That's a preseason experiment all over, you know. But I mean, at the end of the day, Malagusto's gonna start 29 games for them next year. So it's whether it's not that big of a conversation.
Yeah, I don't think you need to really worry that much. I think even if Reece James is healthy, you're going to be rotating that quite a bit because you understand what a crazy injury history he has, and you can't.
Yeah.
Especially if they do end up making, European competition and go far in that amount of minutes for Reece James. Not great.
Is 7th not Conference League, or it's just because isn't 5 and 6 Europa League, or am I crazy?
I'm honestly not sure.
I think 5 is automatic, 6 maybe like playoff for Europa League, and then 8th is Conference League. 8th? And then that could change with Man U being an FA Cup automatic qualifier for Europa if they won.
Oh, that's right. The Cup thing. Yeah, I don't know. Who cares? None of the Champions League, anyways.
Nick 1 year removed from playing on Thursdays.
Dude, that was the worst time of my life.
Yeah. Well, Nick, it is not the worst time that you could really imagine, though, because we do have some relegation updates. And unfortunately, that relegation update is that everybody's kind of fucked down there at the bottom. There is a statistical chance that Nottingham Forest and Luton Town could switch spots on the final day. There's a 3-point gap, but the goal differential between the two is like 11. So,
12.
It's 12. Yeah. So it would be even more than what I just thought was already crazy. It would take some either historic wins and losses or just one insanely historic loss. If Nottingham Forest get beat 25-0, we're great.
Burnley.
Luton Town would also
Burnley
down. Yeah. If Luton Town win their game like 25-0,
who's Luton playing?
They're set. Luton Town has, I believe, a harder matchup for their last game than at least Burnley. Yeah, Fulham. So
fucking Fulham. God.
Listen, if they win 6-0, if Nottingham Forest lose 6-0, we could be talking. But we were probably saying goodbye to Luton Town, and they have been a great story for their 1 year up. And honestly, they've accomplished quite a bit just being able to get up here and the renovations they need for the stadium, giving us plenty of headlines. So thank you to Luton. They thanked their fans after their game. Did go up briefly in their game versus West Ham, and the hopes were there for Luton Town. But fortunately, West Ham responded with a huge 3-1 win in that one. Burnley also confirmed will be going back down after their 1 year. So JJ Watt, Vincent Kompany, and that social team no longer in the Premier League. Adios. Also means that Luka Kolyosho, the American that got injured in this season, will
He's
also
still
be back.
alive. What happened to that guy?
Yeah, he's had some injuries. So we will see Burnley probably back in the Premier League sooner rather than later. They have good investment, good manager. I think their championship style play will help them out. Let's clean up the rest of the Premier League here. Mike, Everton with a 1-0 win over Sheffield United.
Big Dom,
It's about
baby.
standard. It's about standard. If
Dom.
you want the win out of this one.
Man's a goal scorer, but played a sister in this match, and nice little cross from him to Decore for the header. Great goal, and what can I could say this is the absolute minimum against a Sheffield United team. This is bad. 14 wins for Sean Dyche at Goodison Park. 14 clean sheets. Well done. We pack it in the back when we play at home. And good end to the season. This run of form has been pretty beautiful to see. It got very, very scary throughout the year. Thank you, Luton, for going down on our behalf, because it definitely could have been us at one point this season.
Yeah, we have absolutely turned it on late here.
How's that 14 wins? You only have 13 wins on the season.
That's over since Sean Dyche took over, so 2 years.
Oh, got it. Did you guys not win a game on the road this year? What the hell?
Not very many.
To be fair, we have not won that many games overall. We were struggling for quite some time there, Nick. But I mean, look at that run of form there.
Hell
4
yeah!
wins out of 5, absolutely out of the conversation.
Green and
that
gray,
is not
baby.
where I thought we would be going into Championship Sunday. I thought we were going to be shitting ourselves, needing a draw against Arsenal. So I'm very happy that I can not be worried about that game. And I think this game also, you needed a win versus Sheffield because it's Sheffield, but it also means that you get kind of your win going out in the season, because that last game versus Arsenal, I don't think is going to be a great one as a toffee to watch. I think Arsenal are going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at that one.
One other Everton stat. If we had those 8 points they took away, we finish in the same positioning as a certain Don Carlo Ancelotti. So pretty fantastic season for our standards. Sean Dyche did a job.
Let's not.
So what you're saying is Sean Dyche is better than Carlo Ancelotti. Is Real Madrid his next job?
Better looking, maybe. Wears a hell of a tracksuit.
Listen, when
Mbappe
Alonso
is only
leaves,
going there if Sean Dyche is included.
When Alonso leaves Leverkusen, they're going to need somebody, and who better than Sean Dyche over in England?
Can't imagine
Never
Sean
winning,
Dyche
dude.
in any other league than the Premier League.
Yeah, in England, just in England.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him try to learn German. That would be fucking fantastic.
A park or the bus.
If I'm Ryan Reynolds, I'm like, get him to Wrexham.
Bro, Wrexham's manager
Burnley
is actually quite good. He's had like crazy amount of promotions that he's gotten. Also, shout out to Ipswich's manager. Now back-to-back promotions, and they don't have the insane, crazy celebrity clout people coming in. So shout out to them. It'll be fun to watch them in the Premier League next year. Recapping the rest of the games, Palace, like we said, are on some run of form. A 3-1 win versus Wolves. They are just in crazy form. And Elise, as they both just... And Mateta, Jesus Christ. I mean, they just
Mateta's been on it too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just have players in form. And good God, that firing of Roy Hodgson and Iron Glasner is looking better and better by the second. They are rising up the table. They were a relegation candidate at a certain point, and now they're sitting high and mighty up there in 12th. We move to Brentford versus Bournemouth. The Cherries were soaring, but could not soar versus the Bees. They got stung down in a 2-1 win here. I believe Thomas Franks, one of his family members, had passed away, so they're fighting with a little extra. Yeah, his father had passed away, so took an 86th minute and a 90th plus 5 minute goal to take away the points here from Bournemouth, who Dominic Solanke scored a goal earlier, gets a little mass celebration, It's then disallowed, and then he scores again and does the same celebration to make sure that it counted. So you got to respect the commitment to the bit there. And then,
Would you do
like we
it again,
touched
or
on,
did you already
Shout out
get
to
the
Naruto
photo?
fans.
huh?
Would you do it again, or you already got the photo? Like whatever, do a different celebration.
No, I think you got to do a different one. I don't think you can do the same celebration, but I guess if he's thinking, you know what, I celebrated that on a missed goal, maybe I'll go for it again. I guess.
I wouldn't do it
Yeah,
once,
who
dude. That celebration was corny as fuck, bro.
Oh, not a Naruto fan? Come on.
Naruto's fine, but I want my number 9 doing knee slides and nothing more.
We don't have a lot of knee slides over at Everton. We don't have. We just have to talk about our celebrations.
Barely have a number 9.
Yeah. Hey, we had Richarlison with the little pigeon.
Oh
That's our
god.
boy. West Ham, like we said, won 3-1 versus Luton. That wraps up the rest of our results in the league. And then we move to the U.S. men's national team corner. And as my kit here and Mike's kit might suggest, it was a wonderful weekend for the U.S. men's national team. Christian Pulisic with a brace in their win, a 5-1 win for AC Milan. Yunus Musa also got the start in that one. Both Pulisic and Musa have been starting just about every game. As we go down the stretch here, Pioli pretty much on his way out, but Pulisic and Musa certainly making their cases to stick around in that starting lineup for the new manager. Pulisic has delivered quite a bit on that $20 million investment. I believe he's at 22 goal contributions with his goals and assists in the Serie A. So just an insane amount of production from him in his first year there. I believe it's the second most ever for an AC Milan first-year player, behind only Carlos Bacca by 1 goal. So
By the way,
we'll see.
sick ink on his arm
Yeah,
there.
fire.
Tiger.
He does a little celebration where he puts it
I've,
up to his
I've never
eyes.
noticed that before. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's dope.
Flags, when
He
you get
also-
your tiger tattaoo?
Hey, listen,
On your forehead.
He wins Copa or the World Cup. Fuck it. I'll go for it.
You'll
Hell
do
yeah.
it for Copa?
If they win Copa America, yeah, sure.
All right, bet.
For AC
We'll
Milan,
hold
not sure
you
if you
to that.
guys saw this. Thomas Tuchel in the rumor mill as
No.
a potential next
I'm
manager.
personally shooting it down. I will not let it happen.
Are we
It
going to see
was,
right wing back Pulisic? Come on.
Good God, man, that would just. I would not be fine with it. We've Lopetegui was also rumored, and there was like a 200,000 signature petition by AC Milan fans to make sure that he was not hired. So they will certainly be vocal on who they want and who they do not want as their manager.
West
I can't
Ham-
imagine that they
West
would
Ham
want
already
him.
hired him, right? The Lopetegui?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Over Moyes.
Over
Boys,
Moyes.
Benjamin Kramashi gets a goal again for Inter Miami, certainly making his case for that U.S. Olympic squad. Inter Miami come back to win another one from behind here. Luis Suarez getting on the score sheet in this one, and they are still sitting at the top of the MLS, Inter Miami. So, listen, Messi maybe wasn't enough. Once you add Luis Suarez to that mix, all of a sudden you're cooking there. You're cooking.
Shout out Matias Rojas with an absolute banger free kick. If you haven't seen the highlights, Messi was off the field with an injury, wasn't allowed to come back on with the MLS rules that you have to sit out for a minute or two. And he stepped up and hit a 35-yard banger into the top corner. Pretty damn good goal.
Do we like that rule?
No.
I do.
I think it helps with time wasting. But in a situation where it's Messi, I say just fucking forget the rule and send him back on there.
Just no rules for Messi.
Yes, the league is paying him. It is Inter Miami has a deal with the league to get the guy in there. Why are we enforcing stupid ass rules? If
Just
Lionel
no more
Messi is
offside for
faking an
Messi.
injury, if he's faking an injury, let him fucking fake it. You're paying him. You're paying him like your marketing revenue. I say let him do whatever the fucking rules he wants.
Speaking of
Especially,
MLS
like, those
rules, another one this game. Luis Suarez subbed off late for Campana to come on. Didn't get off the field in 10 seconds. So he exited the field, and Campana wasn't allowed to go on until the next out of bounds.
That's so dumb. That's a
from the
rule.
player. So they're
That's
playing
a
man
terrible
down
rule.
for like 2-3 minutes in stoppage time. That one's wild. 10
That's
seconds
a
to get off the
Yeah,
field.
stupid
10
rule.
seconds is quick.
That's
You gotta
quick.
run, bro. What if you have the armband? Like you got all ass. Oh my god.
10 seconds does seem awfully quick for that timer.
I
I will
thought
say,
so.
listen, all measures to potentially get rid of time wasting, and I'm all for that, but good God, man, 10 seconds? You gotta fucking start sprinting to the end line. You're doing a suicide. You're the left back and you're just sprinting across.
You're
Dead
injured.
sprint, you get it in 9 seconds. They go, all right, we'll allow it this time.
Yeah,
Good
dude,
God.
and Luis Suarez hasn't run in 4 years. Imagine him trying to get off the pitch in
Right.
10 seconds. God.
He doesn't run on the pitch. Why the fuck would you ask him to run off of it?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that'll be that makes you one. But Benjamin Kramashi getting a goal, so great for him to get on the score sheet again. He's been playing pretty decent since he's gone back. He's had some nice link up play with Messi, Suarez, Jordi Alba, Busquets. Kind of hard to not have great link up play, but he is certainly
Good
with
player.
their vibe. Gago Slanina, another Olympic shout, had 7 saves and a clean sheet for his final match at Eupen. It's SSS Eupen, but so a good end to his Belgian loan there. Certainly will leave a good imprint on them. We'll see where he goes next. I think Olympics may be a really good spot for him to get his name out there on an international scale with some scouts there. Malik Tillman was bought by PSV. There is still a buyback option for Bayern Munich over the next 2 years, but he is signed till 2028 with PSV. I'd imagine he gets another year or two there where he performs how he did, and he'll have a move to a much larger club. But good for Malik Tillman to kind of find a more permanent home rather than all these loan moves to Rangers and PSV from Bayern. Gets his permanent move there, and Ernie Stewart, the American GM, bringing him in. But unfortunately, with PSV, it is not all purchases for Americans. Serginho Dest tore his ACL, as we all know. That has led to them not choosing to exercise that buy option. So we will have to rehab that. He is back in Los Angeles to get that ACL surgery. He had it completed, said it went well, and is now on the road to recovery here. But Mike, how devastating is it for Serginho Dest? PSV said they do still want him and will negotiate a future fee, but you're going back to Barcelona where there is some type of, maybe not bad blood, but not good blood, to say the least. You're back there, your ACL's torn. Seems like a lot of things have kind of turned wrong for Serginho Dest. He's also going to be missing out on Copa America now.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think he's still under contract with Barcelona. So I guess he'll go back there for his rehab. Not in great favor with Xavi, and probably really far down the pecking order for their outside backs, especially at right back. So that doesn't really look like an option for him. He'll probably be out, about a year? So the entirety of a season. For the player, super tough. I think he probably thought he found a home there at PSV, had a great season this year. As far as the future, rehab and maybe try to get a permanent transfer to an Eredivisie club, or I don't
PSV
know.
have said that they are still negotiating with Barcelona, but they won't exercise the current buy option. They want a lower fee, obviously, due to the injury. So I'd imagine PSV is still in his future if he wants it. But yeah, it's tough to go back to Barca when he does have a
needs money,
thing.
dude. You could probably negotiate a little bit.
Serginho Dest has
case.
a quote saying, "If Barca has Xavi, I will not be there." So
Which,
he's
by
going to
the
be
way,
there, unfortunately.
that is a crazy thing to say with chest when you're Serginho Dest talking about Xavi Hernandez. But
But
by
I think
far,
he knows he's going to be kicked to the curb by Xavi. Is why
either
what
way,
he's saying
by far the best option is for PSV to negotiate a lower, because this can be like career derailing. And what a special talent! I really hope that PSV finds a way to buy him, because I think that they would be the ones most likely to give him a chance when he gets healthy again. And that is a rough injury. You got to feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, team of the year in the Dutch league, and was an absolute star for PSV. So dangerous all season for them on that left back spot. So hopefully he can get some good recovery, some good rehab. in pure Serginho Dest fashion, he went to Los Angeles, got his surgery, and I believe the next day he has had a Los Angeles FC MLS game. The man just loves ball. I want to see him back at it, doing his crazy elasticos and crazy dribble moves nonstop down the sideline. So best of luck to Serginho Dest on his recovery post-surgery here. Boys, Championship Sunday is upon us. We will preview that in our next episode. What do you want to close people out with and get them excited about that next episode, Mike?
Up the Toffees, great end of the season. Ending with a bang. Up Arsenal, did the minimum today. Not a great performance, but outshine those shitters out in Manchester. All to play for. Up Tottenham, do it for the league. Do it for the sanctity of the sport.
Do it for the world.
Do it for all the right reasons. Big Ange is the man to lead you. You just have to trust him. And up the U.S. men's national team. Hope that Copa roster drops pretty soon. Excited to see what it looks like. Big summer of soccer coming up. And let's hope for a great end of the season.
Nick, before I pass it to you, I just remembered that Balogun also did get an assist in his game for Monaco. Now, parting thoughts.
Up Balogun.
Shout out Flo. Yeah, we're still dreaming. There's a lot left to be played for, a lot left to be done. Small chances, maybe, but great moments are born out of small chances. So up the Arsenal in this title race. Like I said, I'm wearing all white tomorrow, Tuesday. Gonna wear all white and just back the Spurs in London, and we're calling the Alliance. We're calling the Alliance for these next 2 days. So up the Arsenal. Let's go win this title. Shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day is a great shout, and maybe we should have opened with that one. But you know what? It's also great to end with it. Only to the loyal moms that listen to the end of the episode. Until next time, this has been Footy with the Boys. Peace.